The rise and fall of the Songhai Empire. Consider the scenario of a time when an African kingdom ruled trade across vast stretches of the desert, where scholars filled numerous cities with knowledge and innovation, when abundance of wealth moved beyond traditional bank systems, instead, traveling through long-haul caravans that defied the confines of the horizon. Yet despite this extraordinary empire's immense power, revered status, and deep-rooted fear, it would ultimately rise with incredible brilliance and subsequently suffer a crushing and dramatic fall. The reason for this? It was not because the Songhai Empire lacked exceptional grandeur. Instead, every living civilization boasts both formidable strengths and as vulnerable weaknesses. This is the compelling narrative of Songhai, one of Africa's most significant and awe-inspiring empires, and an instance of one of its most potent yet overlooked life lessons. Before Songhai, seeds of power. Before Songhai rose, West Africa already thrived through trade and culture. Nearby stood the influential Mali Empire, famous for gold, scholarship, and leadership. But history never stands still. As Mali's influence weakened, new leaders and communities saw opportunity. Songhai, once a smaller kingdom, began expanding its influence along the Niger River. Trade, geography, and ambition started aligning, and a strong leader would soon accelerate that growth. The warrior king, Sunni Ali. Sunni Ali was a fearless and assertive leader who understood the power of strategy and influence. He was bold, strategic, and sometimes controversial in his approaches. However, he had a great ability to understand something crucial. Controlling trade routes is essential to establishing dominance in a region. Under his leadership, major cities were swiftly captured, and trade routes were securely established. He knew how to protect agricultural regions, ensuring a stable food supply for his people. His military strength transformed Songhai into a dominant regional power, making him a formidable force in the political landscape. But leadership built on force alone often creates mixed legacies. Some saw him as a hero, while others saw his harsh rule as a source of instability and suffering. In conclusion, Sunni Ali's remarkable leadership and strategic prowess have left a lasting impact on the history of Africa. Cities of wealth and knowledge. One of the empire's most famous centers became Timbuktu. This wasn't just a trading hub. It was a center of learning. Students studied religion, science, medicine, law, philosophy. Books, manuscripts, and ideas flowed through the city. Knowledge became as valuable as gold, and another city, the imperial capital Gao, became the political heartbeat of the empire. Together, these cities symbolized Songhai's balance of power and intellect. Golden Age leadership. Askia Muhammad. After Sunni Ali, leadership shifted. Askia Muhammad brought administrative reform and diplomatic strategy. His achievements included administrative organization. He structured government roles clearly: governors, tax officials, military commanders. This improved stability. Religious and educational support. Islamic scholarship expanded. Learning institutions flourished. Economic expansion. Trade networks strengthened. Gold, salt, textiles, agricultural goods. He understood governance required more than military power. It needed systems. This period marked Songhai's true golden age. Economic achievements. The Songhai Empire emerged as one of the most prosperous African nations. The foundations of its success were based upon strategically located along prominent trade routes, an extraordinary agricultural productivity centered around the Niger River region, skilled artisans and merchants who facilitated trade transactions, economic openness that encouraged cultural exchange with traders. Markets were bustling with vital activity. Caravans extended connections to distant worlds. Trade transcended mere economic considerations. It also played a crucial role in fostering cultural exchange. Intellectual and cultural fortitude. Songhai considered the pursuit of scholarly accomplishments as of great importance. Libraries continued to expand in number and reach. Debates became even more prevalent and passionate. Teachers were able to attract students from a diverse range of backgrounds. This spirit of intellectual openness allowed for the fostering of better diplomatic relations, more efficient systems of administration, and a more dynamic environment for innovation. History frequently highlights moments of focus on battles, but it is the ideas and concepts that often create lasting empires on a truly profound level of significance. Within the internal dynamics of the organization, weaknesses start to emerge. Following the lead of renowned leaders, disputes over succession began to arise. Unstable leadership led to a series of consequences: heightened political tension, a decrease in the overall unity of the group, increasing pressures from regional autonomy, the requirement of large empires to maintain strong, continuous administration creates opportunities for weaknesses to show through. When the foundations of these empires begin to weaken, cracks start to appear and expand rapidly. External pressures increase overwhelmingly. New regional competitors emerged with rapid speed. Trade routes experienced shifts towards unfamiliar territories. And eventually, a severe external military challenge suddenly arrived on their doorstep. Advanced weaponry introduced a completely new dynamic into warfare. Songhai's traditional strengths suddenly found themselves facing unforeseen threats that they had never encountered before. The turning point. Late in the 16th century, a well-armed invading force confronted Songhai. Despite courage in numbers, Songhai struggled against firearms and new tactics. Defeat didn't erase the culture, but it ended political dominance. Empires rarely vanish overnight. They transform, fragment, and evolve. Songhai was no Exa longer. How long did Songhai last? Songhai's major imperial phase lasted, roughly from the mid-1400s to the late 1500s, about a century of peak imperial dominance, yet its cultural and intellectual influence lasted far longer. Human reality behind empires. Behind every empire are ordinary people. Farmers growing food, traders crossing deserts, teachers guiding students, families preserving traditions. Their lives made Songhai possible, and their descendants still carry elements of that heritage today. Lasting legacy. Songhai left enduring contributions, trade traditions, educational heritage, cultural identity, architectural influence, a historical pride. Even after decline, its influence remained woven into West African history, long before the advent of modern globalization. The African continent was bustling with international trade networks, long before the emergence of contemporary universities. Our African ancestors were bustling with intellectual debates on science, philosophy, and various subjects. Even before the establishment of colonial borders, communities throughout the continent were interconnected through cultural exchanges and commerce. The Songhai story serves as a powerful reminder that history is far richer and more complex than the stereotypes often suggest. The narrative of Songhai encompasses not merely the cycle of rise and fall. It delves into the realm of resilience. Adaptation serves as its core essence. The story reveals the importance of human ambition. It teaches us triumph is attainable. Nevertheless, stasis and greatness are not permanent. They require unity, knowledge, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Moreover, perhaps the most crucial piece of advice: history does not perish. It consistently echoes, awaits our eager ears to listen.